June 29th, 2014. Guys, we had two strong quakes overnight. One a 6.9 there near the bottom of the planet, and east of Iwo Jima, guys, 134 kilometers, a 6.2. Now, the one at the bottom of the planet has had about 4 aftershocks so far. They've been in the 5 range, but they're strong. But that is a pressure point on this planet. It's almost identical to the one that's in the Cayman Trench that goes across the center of our planet. Also in Mexico, guys, building right up through that section, you had a 5.2. Now that came in just before midnight. Notice 28th at 23:59, like 1 minute, or basically 30 seconds before midnight. And that was time because, guys, they are not tracking these CMEs. Again, this has always reminded me of a pressure point, but also a impact point. But there's where our big one came in last night. Again, the geography there is almost identical to the Cayman Trench as far as the landscape and the markings under the ocean, but they're pressure points. And guys, they are turning down a lot of our space instruments so that it's really hard to watch the sun now. And yesterday I kept watching for CME to come in that left the sun just before midnight 48 hours ago on the 27th. And nothing was showing up on any of the CME trackers, but it was there because we saw it come off on LASCO C2, and I'll show you that as we look around at the smaller quakes up in the Denali Fault. But again, with they're claiming they're going to shut down stereo A and B, and it will limit their ability to model those CME trackers. Now, ACE has picked up after the quakes these 2 short bursts, and what we got is, and I'll show you that on the magnetopause here. But we've got a quiet period on the sun, but some old sunspots that were here a couple of weeks ago, back on the 10th, that started giving us trouble leading into the X flares, have made it all the way around the sun, and they're coming back. Now let's look at this coming in. This is 2200 hours just before midnight. You'll see the pressure start to build leading into the quakes. Here we just went into midnight UTC time. Remember, they started after this. 40 minutes after midnight, you see that first bend. That started the quakes. We'll go through it, and you see the pressure still there. The yellow line is your average on a calm day. Now, notice right here at 400 hours, I'm going to stop it. This has been the last pressure point of the day, and it backed off. Now, this is after the quake, so I don't know if that's going to have any pressure as far as aftershocks. We'll just have to see. And we have had a few down on the southern tip off of South America, guys. Now, they were able to track one of the 2 flares. They came off almost simultaneously. A and B are the red and blue squares behind the sun. Earth is the yellow circle. Notice on the 27th right there. I'm going to show it to you on LASCO C2 also. But there were 2 flares that day, one to the left, one to the right. Why they couldn't track the one coming to Earth, I don't know. But listen, this is GOES 15. That's one of the satellites you see going around the magnetopause. You notice how bright the left side was? That's the return of some sunspots that gave us trouble back in the 1st of June up until the 10th. Now, check this out. 27th, and I'll pause it and bring it back. I'll show you both of the flares that they that came out, and they tracked the one to the right. Let me pull this up, guys. Right here's the one you saw go off to the right side. Remember, these are Earth-facing images. We saw that one. They did not track the strongest one here to the left. It was an upper flare, not directly Earth-facing, but that expansion goes 180, guys. When it comes out, it goes 180, and again, they didn't track the one that gave us the 7.9 in Alaska. They didn't track the one that gave us a 6.9 last night. But here are the return of the sunspots I was talking about, and that's why you saw the brighter side of the sun in the GOES 15 images. Again, it's been quiet as far as sunspots. Remember, the sunspots came around, and we started having filament releases. And we've got one filament dead in the center of the sun. You see that right there. But the left side now is starting to kick back up. And it is the return. Remember the sunspots 2050 and that group, guys? They made it all the way around. Now they're coming back. And that's why you're seeing the small flares start to pick back up. And watch this. Does this look familiar? Watch on the left side. There's your filament, but watch right here. There. That's just a small flare. But that's how they started. And this is the same group. A lot of times in your 27-day rotation, a lot of these will die off, especially after coming in and giving us those strong flares, including the X flares. But these have made it back around. So right now we got two things we need to watch. Strong flares coming off to the left and that filament. Here's what they're saying at NOAA. The incoming sunspots include O regions AR 2080, 2082, 2085, which have just finished a 2-week transit around the far side of the sun. Here they're going to remind us. A hemisphere that could soon be invisible to us because of troubles with stereo. NOAA forecasters have posted an escalating series of flare probabilities in response to the approaching active regions. 5% chance today and goes up to a 15% chance tomorrow on the flares. But this goes back, notice on June 10th, that's when the strong flares hit us. But they had started picking up as this section started coming around the sun. Now we're starting to see that whole group come around, and it's a wide group. It's not just a couple there. So we're going to have about 2 weeks now of sunspot activity. But we're watching it, and we're watching the low pressure off the Atlantic coast, and it's still drifting south. They have different models coming up now, guys, but they're saying it could stay off the coast until Wednesday and pick back up and move inland, and then could curve back up and out before it gets into the Gulf. We'll see. Wednesday's a long way away when you're looking at these storms. That gives it a lot of time to build. But I'm working on the images for that now. Heads up, be safe.